Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and/or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
This is what we want. This one.
Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. If this is more than the first time that you've been in to see us, and if you're a first-time viewer, welcome. We love comments. We love for all of our viewers to say hello and interact with our guests. Oh, hey, you want to put that up? Hi, Dom. We're glad that you're here. Good to see you. Trish says howdy, and Barbara says hello. Glad you're with us, people. Go ahead and just comment. We love to hear what you have to say. We've got some interesting people for you. First up is George DISMUKES. He's had a very interesting life. And second up is JOYLENE NOWELL BUTLER, and she is also a very interesting lady. Oh, hello, Paul. Glad to see you. We're really glad to see you. Let us go ahead.
Now, George has had a few technical difficulties, so this may be a bumpy entry, but let's give it a try. We haven't had a chance to say hi to him yet tonight. So here we go. Come on in, George.
Hey.
Hi, George.
George, you're on.
Can you hear us?
I can't hear anything.
Oh,
can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine.
Yeah. I don't hear a thing.
Oh, no.
Check your mute button on your computer there.
I know I got to be doing something wrong.
Okay.
But I'm computer brain dead, so I don't know what it is.
Well,
while George is figuring this out, Paul, Trish says she received your book. So that's awesome. How about you, Dom? Didn't you get one of Paul's books too? Can you hear us now, George? I guess not.
okay, why don't we switch over.
It doesn't make any sense.
All right, let's switch over to JOYLENE.
All right.
We'll talk to her for a while, and maybe you can work it out. I'll text him in the meantime. Okay, we're going to pop George backstage while he works on his sound issues. And we're going to bring JOYLENE in. Hello, JOYLENE.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi.
I'm good. Hi, Joan and Rob. Good to be here. Sorry about George's. Been there, done that. It's awful when things don't go well.
Let us say hello to a few more of these people. Paul says he hopes you like it. I know she'll like it, Paul. And Sue Pearson says hello. Well, hello, everyone. We're so glad that you're here. Enjoy the show. And JOYLENE, I'm so happy that you're here tonight. I've been really excited. Actually, I've told a lot of people about you coming on. And George also, he's awesome. JOYLENE, however, is really just She's an Aboriginal person from Canada. And how do you pronounce your band's name?
Oh, I'm Métis.
Métis, without, you don't pronounce the S, Métis.
No, it means mixed. Yes.
Let's try and
So it's not a band, it's a federation.
Oh, it's a federation.
Yeah.
We're going to try and bring George on. He has a different one on now. Let's see if this works.
That'll have all three of us.
Oh, wait a minute.
George, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All it takes is pressing the right button.
All right. How do we want to go here?
Here I am. Hi, JOYLENE.
Hi, George. How are you?
I'm better than nothing according to my wife.
Well, why don't we just do it like this?
Okay, I think the cool was to you because you're mixed. You say Aboriginal, right? From Canada. And
sure. Yeah, yeah, that's a good name. There's a lot of controversy, so it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me, but you know, some groups say that's not a right word. Some say natives isn't the right word. Some say Indian isn't the right word. So I try not to get into those.
Indigenous is another one. And
yeah, Indigenous is, yeah.
Hey, look who's here. Jillian Thrillian and Sue Pearson says, hi, George. And Trish Pipkin says, yay, welcome, George. You made it.
It's been a bumpy road, but we sure did get there, didn't we?
And Trish wanted to ask you, Jolene, which area of Canada you came from?
I'm from Manitoba, but I've lived in British Columbia since most of my life. We live at Clucas Lake, which is in the geographical center of British Columbia. It's about an hour northwest of Prince George, which is 700 kilometers north of Vancouver.
Good.
Sounds
and
cold.
George, how about you? Yes. Would you like to share with the audience where you're from and some of your background?
Well, I was born in Mexico. Came to this country when I was 5. Adopted an American family. My goodness. I got feedback.
Do you?
And basically been in the United States off and on ever since. Lived in Honduras.
Yeah, you do have feedback. I can hear it.
I did.
Mm-hmm. But it's okay.
It's not too bad. We can still hear you fine.
I bet you that helped. Nope.
Yeah, that's better.
That's better, I think.
It is better.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So you've had an exciting life. You were a bullfighter for a while, correct?
From the time I was 14 years old for 8 years.
Wow. That's pretty young to start doing that.
Well, I ran away from home when I was 12.
Oh,
okay.
That's
and
sad.
I went to work on a ranch in Mexico where they raised fighting bulls. And it just sort of was a natural progression to become a bullfighter because all of the bullfighters came out to the ranch to have what they call tientas, which are tests of the female calves. They started showing me how to handle the cape, and I was tall, even for my age, and enjoyed it.
Did you know Manolo Martinez? Yes.
Good friend of mine.
I knew him.
His family produced tequila.
I know. I knew him. I knew him from when he used to fight in the bull ring in Guadalajara.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
The new one there in the 60s, late 60s. I was living there then.
Yeah, he was a little bit moody, but he was a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Well, he was a bullfighter.
Yeah, I think it was sort of endemic among bullfighters. Be a little bit moody.
Yeah.
So then, what got you into the movie business? You've got a new thing coming up. So how did you get into the movie business to begin with?
I went to Africa in 1960 and worked as a consultant on the movie Atari. And in those days, I was full of vinegar, leaving out one word.
You can, we have a warning on it. You can say piss and vinegar if you want to.
Okay.
No, we put that warning out there.
So I looked at the script and I realized that the problem wasn't the rhino, the problem was the script. So I went up to John Wayne and I said, you know, unless you can teach that rhino how to read, we're going to have to rewrite something. And he said, well, since you're so smart, why don't you just go rewrite it? And I did.
That's awesome.
And he liked it.
He liked it, and I wound up writing 3 different scenes in the movie.
Atari.
And I fell in love with Elsa Martinelli, and I don't think she realized I was in Africa.
Wow. That's
Nor
amazing.
did she care.
Okay, so now you're on a new project.
Yeah, we're putting together a TV series called Siren Song. It's also a novel, which will be out in July. And putting together the TV series is involving a whole lot of work. But we're hoping to start shooting in late spring, early summer. And then we want to release by late summer.
You're already
a series. We're shooting 7 segments to begin with.
That's something, huh? You're already auditioning and filling parts, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and we have been very fortunate. We have found our siren. This is a story about the last siren on Earth, and she becomes paranoid about her existence and decides that what she needs to do is kill a bunch of people on a yacht and create a stigma about that. Yes, that's her. That's Jenny Metter. Very sweet woman. And the funny part of it is that she is a real estate broker and a licensed attorney. Now on her website today, she put real estate broker by day, murderous siren by night. Yeah, and we've got 3 or 4 of the other characters cast so far. We're having another audition on April the 10th.
Now, did you happen to hire that young boy that we met?
The young boy that you met.
Yeah, the 12-year-old.
Well, that's still up for grabs.
Okay.
He's got a lot of development to do. He has potential, but we'll see. He's definitely in the running.
He was a very nice young man.
Good kid. His name is Case. His name is Case.
Yes, he did. He told what the show is about.
So that's all set there.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
And he's a siren killer. So
I know.
it's a very important role.
There you go.
He was a very sweet little boy to be a siren killer.
He was, right?
Well, he is being directed by his great-great-grandfather, the ghost of his great-great-grandfather.
Oh,
Awesome.
I have to watch this show.
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
Thank you. We are too.
This is my kind of
It's a
show.
good script.
The only thing you need now to make my life perfect is to have Sasquatch and a UFO and an alien in it. And then I'll be happy.
They might show up during filming. You never know.
The problem is, I don't know if Sasquatch can swim.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
But do any of us know?
But you know, the UFOs, a lot of them come up out of the water. So I think those aliens can do just fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's what they say.
this show is a little bit impromptu tonight because we had a plan.
Technical difficulty.
And then we had technical difficulties. We're kind of higgledy-piggledy going all around here. So we're going to have 2 book giveaways. All right. They're going to be ebooks. And the first one I'm going to show you is for George, since he was supposed to be on first anyway. And the first 3 people to email his address there, MayanArtIntl International @yahoo.com, will win the book of choice. Now let me show you a couple of his books here. Also, get to the right spot. And the first one is Two Faces of the Jaguar. Can you tell us a little bit about that one, George?
Takes place in Honduras. It involves the jungle. It involves a Maya legend, beautiful woman, of course, and a black jaguar, 300-pound jaguar. And she's sort of the alter ego of Brandon Shaw. Although it's adventure, it's also a love story. And we have found that women really love it because they're discovering as they read it that it has a female protagonist. A woman is the hero. What she does, I'm not going to give away the story, but what she does is rescue a man from his own foolishness. That's all I'll say about that.
Right, JOYLENE?
I've been told it happens in real life. I don't know.
That's reality. Come on.
Well, George, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, maybe sleeping on the deck. I don't know.
Okay, and then you got a follow-up to that, don't you?
This is actually a trilogy.
Okay.
And the sequel is already out. It's called The Lost City. That's where they return to the, it's called The Lost City of the Monkey God. That's the actual name of it. And it's a archaeological site that actually exists in the extreme eastern part of Honduras. And they have to go there to find out what this Maya spirit is so pissed off about, and get him to calm down a little bit and leave him alone.
Yeah, and you did want us to mention that if people haven't read the first book, The Two Faces of the Jaguar, they should probably request that.
Yes,
because
you've got to read them in sequence. Now, the third one will be out in May.
Yep.
According to my wonderful publisher.
Yeah.
I'd like to acknowledge right now Nancy Schumacher. Nancy, bless your heart, I love you.
Yeah, she's already.
Thanks for popping in.
And the third book is called The Jaguar's Quest. And believe me when I tell you, it puts such a spin on the three stories that it completely blindsides you. People love it.
Oh, listen, Robert White is one of our viewers from Australia. And he says, another reason to stay out of the
That's probably true.
Give you
and good morning.
Yeah, good morning. God bless you watching us from Australia at this hour. Yeah. Okay, Nancy's answering your question, Barb. We are publishing the book Siren Song in the summer. It's about the last sea siren on Earth. Yeah.
Yep.
And we showed a picture of her. Oh, so, all right. Now, Trish Pipkins has this to say. She says she knows Sasquatch can and do swim. Actually, you know what? I've heard about that too from a Canadian Sasquatch. And Robert White says they make
like a wet dog.
but they can swim. Oh my goodness. Yes. All right. This is awesome. So if all you have to do, let's put that up again, how to get his book, ebook giveaway, the first 3 people to email Mayan
Art International.
International. That's what it's short for.
I gotcha. At yahoo.com will win the voice book of choice. This is for people who are listening who don't have a vodcast, but just have a podcast. And so we want to make sure that they hear everything that's on the banners so that they can reach it.
Because if you're listening to it shortly after,
okay, well,
then you can still try to win a book. I mean,
and Robert, you can send for it because it's an ebook.
Yeah, there you go. Even in Australia, they have ebooks.
The email is already sent, and let's see. And email is sent. Good luck to everyone. Hello, Genevieve. I'm so glad to see you. Join the fun. We've had our first technical difficulties.
Yeah, dropping back 20 and kicking it. Okay,
all right.
so
the rest of you get on the stick and Send in
right.
your emails.
That's for George's
and
ebook
George
giveaway.
has even said if more than 3 of you email in, he'll send more than 3.
He's a real generous guy.
Yeah.
So
So
400, I think, is the limit, right, George?
Yeah, 400 is the limit.
No,
But the one
400.
request that I have is that anybody that reads it, please give me a review. I'm not
Absolutely.
going to presume to tell you what to say. I want you to speak from the heart. Just give me a review.
Good reviews
It's a
are
good book.
appreciated, though. Of course.
Of course.
this is another. Yeah, Robert said skunk. They come out smelling like skunk,
Yeah.
not kunk, which we figured that out. And Trish,
Okay.
they're called skunk ape in Florida for a reason. That is true. They do. They stink. So.
Okay. So now we know about all that.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Anybody have any questions for George at this point?
Okay. Trish says you know what? I've read her reviews. She is a great reviewer.
She is a good reviewer.
She should be a writer. I'm just putting that out there in the universe, but that's her thing. But I think she should be a writer. She's articulate and funny, and she writes really good reviews. And after you read the review, you want to read the book. So yeah, good.
Okay, and let's see here. How else can people get a hold of you, George? Your books are on Indie Book Source, of course.
Yeah, they're on Amazon. They're on a lot of websites. Barnes and Noble,
Mm-hmm.
Smash Books,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.
Hulu,
Mm-hmm.
or is that it? Hulu? You know, and you
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah,
And us,
Indie Book Source.
IndieBookSource.com.
Indie Bookstore.
And anyone that goes onto your page on Indie Book Source will get a direct link to be able to purchase your books. So, and you can purchase them just about anywhere, I think, probably Walmart too.
Okay, here's some questions.
Okay.
George, what made you decide to write about sirens? Tricia asks.
Oh my gosh.
When my youngest son turned 12 years old, he was studying to be a scuba diver and graduated. He was good. And then he also went to acting school, and he had a very good drama teacher. Her name was Chris Wilson, nicknamed Mama Bear. As a matter of fact, her son is Brandon Smith, which a lot of people know. And somebody said, you know, that you're in the production business, you need to write a script. And so I did. And it was influenced by the fact that my father had 2 boats. One was named the Siren, and the other one was named the Siren 2. So I took off from that. Sort of a nod to my father, who's gone but not forgotten.
And we've got another
Interesting.
question. I know the answer to this, but
Yes, we know the answer.
Yes, I live where the book is written about. I lived on the north coast of Honduras, just east of La Ceiba, at a place called Cuyamel. And my front door was the Caribbean, and I
Wow.
loved it.
that's nice. I would like it too.
But you got wet every time you opened the door.
He got wet every time I opened the door. We're actually 40 feet from the beach.
Wow.
That is awesome. That must have been beautiful.
Had to duck and dodge the coconuts falling out of the trees.
Monkeys are probably throwing them at you.
So, Sue,
What was another question?
yeah, what has been your most difficult book to write and why?
Wow.
While you're thinking about that, I just wanted to say hi, Damon. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good to see you here.
But, you know, I got to be honest with you. None of them have been that difficult because I write from the heart. And they've just sort of flowed out. I mean, the difficult part of writing has been the mechanics of writing, but the stories haven't been difficult. sometimes passages within the story made me cry.
Oh, yeah.
But that's sort of cathartic.
I get that.
It is cathartic. Writing is cathartic. And you've had such an interesting life. I mean, you've lived in Honduras. You've lived in, did you live in Peru? I'm trying to remember all the places.
Yeah, lived in Peru for a while.
Yep.
In
And
Iquitos.
Mexico, in Iquitos, Peru. And you worked with John Wayne. I think we have a picture of you with John Wayne, actually. And on Hatari, you lived in Africa. You exported in. There you are. There's the Duke and George.
I didn't actually live in Africa. I was just there long enough for the shoot.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, where'd you get that picture?
That's from your production company, right? When you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago when I had hair.
See, George, we know.
We've
know
been
all.
watching you.
So you see, George has had a very exciting life. Oh, I think we have, okay. Oh, yes. Great answer.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And then Sue said, so cool. All the places that you live. They are so cool. Oh yeah. When he was still alive. Yep.
Hopefully.
I know.
He's a good man.
You, Barb?
Little known fact about him. He loved kids, but he hated horses.
No.
Wow.
He said that the horse is the most contrary animal that God ever invented.
That is crazy.
I beg to differ with him. I'm sorry. I had horses. My horse was amazing. That is too funny. I mean, when you consider how much time in his career that he spent on top of a horse, that's
probably the reason why he just got saddle sore. But he was a good man.
Well, they do, they do. Okay, I'm kind of backtracking what I just said because they do bite. If you don't know how to approach a horse or to act around them, they will chomp your arm.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
Okay, well, it's about time to
Look at this.
take a break.
So Trish did know that he hated horses. Well, just before we have to go to, Barb says his home is still there on the Newport Bay. Well, yes, Barb, we didn't think that they tore it down when he died.
Chanel says.
What?
Chanel has a comment. Did you already put it up?
What? Yes, like the one that threw me in Mexico. Yeah. She's talking about the horse. That is true. I was, okay. Oh, Chanel says John Wayne was my father's favorite. I know, Chanel. He really was wonderful. Was he a nice man too?
Yes, he was.
That's
he was a good man.
He seemed to be.
Yeah.
That's the way he came across. Yeah.
Okay.
He was genuine and he never knew a stranger. I've seen him be surrounded by movie stars, and somebody would come up and want to take their picture with him, a tourist, and he would say, yeah, sure. He'd break away from anything he was doing and accommodate them.
That's nice. Well, the horse throwing story was when I lived in Mexico. My horse used to be a racehorse, and I stabled him where there were a bunch of caballeros that would take care of the horses and stuff. And my friends and I would go out and we would play cowboys and Indians. Excuse me, Joylene. And we would race our horses all over these fields and hills and stuff like that outside of Guadalajara. And we were coming back one time, and my horse, all of a sudden, his brain went into, I'm in a race again. So he took off to beat everybody, and I'm trying to pull him back. He galloped like a dream. I've got to tell you that. He was one of those horses where all four hoofs came together, so you were flying. So we're flying down the road, right? And everybody's eating our dust. and we get to the stables, and when we got to the stables, he just stopped. And so I went over his head, and all the caballeros were sitting on the fence, right, waiting for us to come back. And they were just all sitting there watching this stupid gringa come flying back in, right? And I flew over his head and landed holding his reins, standing. They all jumped down from the fence and were going, brava, brava. And asked me if I could mount the same way. I said, no, I can't mount the same way.
Let me take a run at it.
Stupid horse threw me off. No, he wasn't a stupid. Yeah.
I already put that up.
Okay.
So
Robert had something to
put
say.
that up too.
Yeah. Okay.
So we need to take a break.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, we do. And so you two guys sit back and relax for a minute. When we come back, we'll start talking with JOYLENE a little bit more and answer any more questions that people might have.
Yeah. Be thinking, people, because JOYLENE's coming on and she's really interesting too. We have two great people on tonight. We're so blessed.
So see you in a few minutes.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, now that I got
Paratalk Radio is a member of radio.com. Download the app, search Paratalk Radio. One word. That's it. Pretty easy peasy. Radio.com.
WLFE DB Radio is on Spotify with all its great shows like Across the Pond, Inside the Drag Closet, Step into the Paranormal, Just Cindy, Where's My Sage, Unfiltered Talks with Bryce, Metal Mayhem ROC, Paratalk Radio, Real Talk with Dom, and more. So download the Spotify app today to stay connected to all your WLFE DB Radio shows.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
I wonder why we got feedback.
Don't have a feedback now.
No, you haven't had.
You haven't had the whole program.
So you've been good. Been doing good. All right.
JOYLENE, you're
Yes,
trying
George.
bad, honey.
Oh,
You're up, JOYLENE.
Thanks,
Well,
George.
This has been an interesting night so far, let me tell you.
Full of surprises.
Live radio, you never know what.
Just trying to get a caveman on the air to begin with was rough.
One thing I did want to say before we would talk to JOYLENE is we're now on TV too. And you can watch us live on TV if you go to WLF e-db.com, you can see all 3 of our TV channels. And actually, we're streaming there live right now.
Wow. I'd have known that. I'd put on my wig.
Did you say you were going to dance a jig?
Yeah, right.
Okay, JOYLENE, how about if you tell us something about yourself, if you can still remember?
Oh, well, I fell off a horse when I was 16. The saddle cinch broke. I was in traction in the hospital for like 2 weeks, I think.
That's not funny.
Yeah, it took me 20 years to get back on a horse. So,
well,
yeah, we were at a full gallop and the saddle cinch broke on the highway. So I landed on my back.
Oh.
And the horse came back and drooled all over my face.
Oh.
As if to say, you know, hey, lady, get up. I was 16, I think, yeah. So that was, and the Sasquatch in Canada, they do swim.
Sasquatch, okay.
Right.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
When you're from, they have a lot of Sasquatch. Well, your people do too, right?
Oh yeah, it's a big
long tradition.
And also, my brother-in-law was a big John Wayne fan, and he had one of the big, gigantic pictures of John Wayne behind him at the dining room table. So we would all get to see John Wayne while Danny was eating.
Maybe that's what George had in that picture.
No,
just kidding.
But anyway, I felt very at home listening to your stories, George, because I could definitely. And I visited the monkey forest when I was in Bali a couple of years ago. So because they're worshipped there too, eh? And they're held, they're held in high esteem. But they scared the bejeebies out of me. So they're quite rude and a little aggressive.
Yeah.
What kind are they?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't get too close. We were walking from the ice cream. There was a little ice cream cart just across from the entrance into the forest. And my friend and I were walking with ice cream in our hand. And this monkey could run up her back and over her shoulder, grab the ice cream and hung on. And she's screaming. And I'm in shock because I didn't. And then afterwards, she told everyone that I never did a thing, didn't even try to save her. I wasn't quite sure but one of the caregivers or carekeepers across the road made a grunting noise, very loud, and the monkey jumped off of her and ran away. Wow. So that was my experience with monkeys.
Yeah, you were smart to be concerned about them.
Before we go much further, let's get your ebook giveaway out here so people will have time to respond. And there we go. The ebook giveaway for JOYLENE is going to be the first 3 people to email joylene.butler@gmail.com. And you'll win one of 3 of her books. And she's going to talk about her books here in just a second.
Yeah. Actually, you can talk about them right now, JOYLENE.
Yes.
I have 3. They're connected, but you don't have to read them in sequence. The first one is Dead Witness. It's the story of a Canadian woman on a short vacation in Seattle, and she witnesses the execution of 2 FBI agents, and she's put into witness protection against her will and fights back. The second one is called Maskey, Woman Who Broken But Not Dead, and it's the story of a Métis professor who teaches. She's head of the English department at the University of Northern British Columbia, and she's stalked by the one there, Broken But Not Dead. And she is she's the victim of a home invasion. And when it's over, because she doesn't know who her assailant is, and he threatens her daughter, so she uses her resources and tracks him down. And the third one is Matawak, Woman Who Cries.
Right here.
Matawak, Woman Who Cries. Mm-hmm. And it's the story, it's the sequel to Maskey, Broken But Not Dead, but in a sense, it's the mother of 2 boys that are in the first book. And she finds her husband dead on the kitchen floor, and an Aboriginal RCMP officer named Danny Killigan investigates the crime, and there's a bond that grows between them because they're both victims of grief and loss. And so those 3 books are available in ebooks. And then I have a 4th one that's coming out this year. I'm not sure what month or anything. We haven't even got a cover yet, but it's called Kiss of the Assassin, and it's a political thriller about the Vietnam War. It's about a Russian agent, mercenary, and a American sergeant in the Marines, and how they meet, and it spans like 20 years. That's about, yeah. So, and I'm also working on a children's book, and my latest, the one I'm working on right now, is called Shattered, and it's about a man who investigates his wife's murder, and she's killed in Gastown in Vancouver, and the investigation sends him to England to try and find out why she was targeted.
Yeah, the stuff I love to read too, Trish. Just wanted to say hello to Tanya. This is her first time listening.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. We love having you here. Those do all sound really good. And so I think it's great that you're writing children's books too. It's good to branch out. Look who's talking. The person who's been sitting on a story for 7 years. JOYLENE was encouraging me to go ahead and write a story that I haven't written yet.
If anybody has any questions for JOYLENE, now would be a good time.
Mm-hmm. And just to say out loud, where can we reach you, JOYLENE? What are your web pages, your Twitter, all of that?
My books are all available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and they're also available at Indigo chapters in Canada. I don't think they stock them on the shelves anymore. They usually don't after they've been around for a few years. They take them off unless you have to order them. And my website is joylenebutler.com. I love to hear from my readers, and like George, if you do read one of my books, it's an honor if you'll do a review. It really helps us a lot. I do a lot of reviews, so I understand how valuable they are.
And you have like a mailing list, newsletter kind of thing, or
no? I don't. I know I'm supposed to. I know I'm.
No.
I don't have a newsletter, and I've been asked many times. I have 3 publishers, and they've all kind of said, hey, but I don't think I'm very exciting, so I can't imagine what I'd write about every month.
You still have a blog going? No.
You have a blog, right?
Yes, I do have a blog.
Okay.
I have 2 guest writers. Phyllis Miller is on the 10th of every month, and Hank Quezon is on the 20th. And then I write a post on the first Wednesday of every month. I belong to the Insecure Writer Support Group. It was created by Alex Kavanaugh, and we've got about just under 200 members, and we just get together the first Wednesday every month, and we just listen to what anybody has to share, if they've got encouragement, or if they've hit a wall, or if they're just feeling kind of in a slump, and we just try to help. And we have a lot of resources on Insecure Writers Support Group for writers at every stage in their careers.
Okay, Trish wants to know, have you ever been to England?
Yes, I have. My son, our youngest, was stationed there for a year. I probably would never been able to go, but I went over to see him, and he was about, maybe 2 kilometers from the Rocks. So that was huge. And I did get to, that was funny because I went into London to go to Scotland Yard thinking they'd let me in and I could get an idea of what the entrance of the police station looked like. And the 2 sergeants on the outside, my son was with me, and He was a warrant. He just retired. He was a warrant officer in the army, but they wouldn't let me in. And I said, I'm just a little grandma from Canada. I can't why wouldn't you? And they said, no, sorry, you have to. So if you ever want to go to England, you want to go to Scotland Yard, you've got to give them a week's notice so they can investigate who you are and what you plan on doing with. Yeah, I said, and I handed him my camera and said, well, would you at least go in and take a picture? No.
Probably because of all the troubles, from Ireland and stuff. Don Hayes has a question.
Don says, do you find it difficult to come up with ideas for your books? They are so interesting.
Oh, that's my cousin from Manitoba. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
Yeah, what a sweetheart.
Welcome.
Yeah.
The ideas aren't hard. I usually come up with them. Either I have the dream or I have a question. Dead Witness, for instance, my brother was visiting and he was an investigator and he was on the phone to his company. And I thought, I wonder if anything ever happened to me, if I suddenly just vanished, if he would have the resources to find me. And that's where the idea for Dead Witness came into being. And I had a critique done of my first book when I was writing Woman, Broken But Not Dead. And she was quite critical of why I painted the kitchen blue, why I had the kitchen blue. And she was like, it really got in her craw for some reason. She was just totally upset. I guess she didn't like blue. But anyway, that started the idea for Matawak because, for Maskey, because in that book, Brendel is just turning 50. And she isn't blonde, she doesn't have blue eyes, and her skin is dark, and she feels like a throwaway. She's divorced. And for some reason, I thought, life does not end when you turn 50 and you're not, it's not the end of your life. And there is more to come.
That's true.
I just put that one up.
Okay, there's a question. Have you always liked to write? But I wanted to let Tanya and Lynn know we'll get to your questions next. And also, we've got a few more things that are being asked. Go ahead.
I started writing when I was 8. My mother gave me a journal, a diary, and I used to sit under the light of the moon when I was supposed to be sleeping and write. And as I grew older, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I found true happiness when I was writing. I was in the zone. I've been writing since I was 8. I started my first book when my dad passed away. I was going to write his book, and it was called Always Father's Child. It took me 7 years. And when it was finished, I read it, and it was horrible. And but by then I was hooked on the process. I was hooked on writing. I felt alive when I was writing. And so then I started Dead Witness right after that. And then while I was writing Dead Witness, our oldest son was killed in a car accident. And I put the book aside and I felt ashamed for writing. For some reason, I thought if I could give up writing, I could get him back, I'd give up anything. And so I didn't write for about 18 months. And then I was making the bed one day and it just, this powerful feeling came over me, like, this is who you are. This is who you're meant to be. This is who you must write. So I started back and then I wrote, I think I've written six so far, 4 published, or 3.
Do you live full-time in Canada, Lynn?
No. Hi, Lynn. She knows I don't live full-time. No, I live in Mexico. We're here. We've been here since 2019. Because they won't. We don't have a winter home in Canada. So when the pandemic came, we just stayed here because we didn't have anywhere else to go. So we've been here ever since. We've been here for off and on for 7 or 8 years, something like that.
Now, this is a good question. It's from Tanya, and I think all 4 of us here have opinions on this. Thank you. Looking to get some info on how to get started with writing novels and possibly publishing original material for a book and or a series for TV. I have spoken a bit already to George. My only experience is in music videos because I am an artist-songwriter. So I think that was directed to you.
The resources online are endless. You could spend the rest of this year just doing research on how to write a book. When we started, George and I, there was no internet. There was no resources. You went to the library and stayed there until they kicked you out. And even then you hoped that they had resources. And a lot of times you have to order the book in. But now what's out there now is just incredible. If you have the passion to write, you just do it and don't let anything stop you. I wrote at night after my 5 sons went to bed. I wrote until I was exhausted, and then I got up in the morning and wrote until they got up sometimes I'd get up at 5, 6:30, and that was on an IBM computer or keyboard in those days. And then they came out with that eraser tape. I thought, oh my God, I've died and gone to heaven.
What an upgrade. I remember that. That was an upgrade.
That was an upgrade.
Yeah. So Carrie Ann says, it's always great to hear what JOYLENE has in the works. I'm just hoping she'll be coming back to Canada soon. Any book promotional tours on the horizon? Hint, hint.
Well, I do belong to the Friends of the Library, so I'll contact them when I get home. They sponsored me on a tour of BC when I came out with Broken But Not Dead, and I promoted those 2 books. And I traveled all the way to Vancouver and then through the Kootenays, and it was quite exciting. There was a couple of times when me, the librarian, and my best friend were the only person at the reading, but you read anyway. It's all good experience.
That's such an encouraging thing to hear about writing. Thank you for that answer. This is what Tanya said. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think you just need to write and write and write and write. And you can indie publish. We're calling it indie publish now. It's taking the stigma away from self-publish. We've talked about this before, JOYLENE, how that used to be a stigma, but just like indie movies are now a great thing, so are indie published authors, and that's a good way to find a publisher. Just indie publish your book and write it and get a good editor before you publish it.
Oh, yes. Editors are worth their weight in gold. Yes.
They're going to take a lot of words out and you won't like it.
Tanya says, thank you so much for that info. I've been focusing so much with songs right now. I will email and give you some background. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, it's really, I would like to encourage everybody that wants to write.
Absolutely.
Like George had said earlier, it's very cathartic. It is that.
Yeah, your Insecure Writers group, how does someone get a hold of that if they feel insecure about their writing and would like to join a group like that and be supported?
Well, that's the name of the blog, insecurewritersgroup.com, but you can also find the link on my blog because I work with them once a month. Incredible bunch of excellent writers on that group there. And it doesn't seem to matter how successful or how many books they write. There is so much insecurity in this profession.
I agree.
And I think it comes hand in hand with the sensitivity to be able to pull all that stuff out of your heart. You can't help but be insecure that people are going to step on you, stomp on you, but you just got to do it because that's who you are. And I started late. I was 30 before I started writing novels. So, and at that time I was old because there was, younger people than I was at the time. Now I'm a senior in both professions. Yeah. I've been around the bend a few times, but it wouldn't change it. No.
My question for both George and JOYLENE is, do you have a bucket list?
Oh God, yes. Mine is to have, what George has got. If they turned one of my books into a movie,
Right.
Yeah, I would just be
What
thrilled.
we're all aiming for, right?
I would be thrilled. My son's uncle worked on the television series Blackstone, and I sent him my book, Broken. And I told him, okay, like this is what you do, Uncle Steve, is you leave the book on a table somewhere, and then you go to the other side of the set and you yell, "Where's my book? Broken but not dead." So the producers and the screenwriters and the writers and the tech people and the they'll all get so sick of hearing this book, they'll pretty pick. He didn't do it, but I think that would be my bucket list right at the top.
Yeah, it's everybody's, and we were so excited for George when this happened. Still are, and it sounds great, George. We can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Hoping Netflix picks it up.
Yeah, I'm thrilled for you, George. I think that's so exciting. I don't think there's anything more exciting than that, and especially when you go to and see the premiere and you sit in the audience and you think, if it wasn't for my words, they wouldn't all be there. There
you go.
That's pretty darn cool.
We're going to be shooting 7 in the beginning, and we'll market them, and we're hoping they'll go ahead and pick it up for a second and a third season, and want at least 20 segments per season. Now, there's one more thing.
Yes.
Want to use Siren Song as a stepping stone for Two Faces of the Jaguar. But that one's going to require a lot of special effects, because we got a 300-pound black Jaguar in there that don't read the script.
Well, it didn't stop you with the rhinoceroses, did it?
Yeah.
So do you have anything else on your bucket list, George?
I'm sorry?
Do you have anything else on your bucket list?
No, I just want to write and be published, and whenever I die at 105 or 110, I want to leave my wife in good financial condition.
There you go.
There you go. Hear that?
Yeah. 110.
Yeah, well, I would think that not kicking the bucket is on my bucket list.
There we go.
That's on my bucket list too.
Well played. Well played.
And darn it, I'm not going to let this stupid COVID get me either.
So
I've already got my shots.
JOYLENE and George, do you guys have any questions for each other?
Well, I'd like to know more about the process, George. I'd like to. Are you keeping a blog of what's going on? Like, are you chronicling this event, all this excitement in your life?
Yes, I am. I've already discussed this with Nancy, and I'm writing a book about the production itself.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so far I've just been making 100 notes. But yeah. But I would hope, to be honest with you, that by the time we get this done and the book gets published, it'll be a help to somebody else who wants to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, George. Who do you hire for your song credits for the episodes, or do you accept targeted songs produced for your pieces? But before you answer here, I would say, Damon, finish your story and publish it. Anyway, here's Tanya's question.
There's a regular company that writes movie music. However, with that said, we are also buying a piece of music from Universal that was used in the old movie called Star Trek, the motion picture. The piece of music is a very long piece of music, lasts about 6 minutes. It's called The Cloud, and it is absolutely perfect for some of our underwater scenes.
Oh my gosh.
Half of this thing is going to be underwater.
Very cool.
That's fabulous. Star Trek.
If you want to get the willies, go listen to The Cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll write that down.
That is really awesome.
That is.
I don't know if you saw this, but Robert said exchange the bucket for a barrel.
Exchange the bucket for a barrel.
Really funny.
What's in the barrel, I wonder?
And I do think, I would like to encourage Damon to finish writing your story and go ahead and indie publish it after you get an editor who's going to tell you it's too wordy and you're using too many
And they're going to
adverbs.
shorten it by 3 or 4 chapters.
I'm not kidding. Am I kidding?
So Joylene, you're living on the west coast of Mexico. Does that give you any writing ideas being down there?
I've actually used the Baja was in my first book, Dead Witness, because we spent a couple of years there before we came to Bucerias. But so that was in, yes, it'll probably be, I'm sure it'll be in feature. I think I even used it in, no, maybe not, but I'm using it in one of the stories I'm writing now. You can't help it. It's so different here. People don't understand. Just for a kick, I click my phone sometimes and I go to the grocery store and I videotape the store because some of my family in Canada have no idea where I get my groceries from. Like they're just, and I go to a regular grocery just like we have in Canada. I buy off the shelf. Yeah, but as for indie writing, I think that, or publishing, it's not so easy in Canada. We don't have the distribution that you have in the United States. So in Canada, it's a lot harder to be an independent because it costs a fortune to package your books and ship them off. I was lucky because I published my first novel by myself and I only had 400 copies made and they sold in the first week, and I lucked out and got a publisher right after that, or I would have never been able to afford to. It costs a fortune. It's $7 to send a book. One. Yeah, so you can't do it.
That
Can't
adds
do
up.
it up there.
That adds up.
Here in the United States, it's much easier to be indie published.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I tell 2 different stories depending on who I'm speaking to. If it's an American writer, sure, go for it. But if it's a Canadian, it's not so easy.
Yeah.
And we've only got I think maybe less than 20 literary agents in the entire country.
Oh,
there's probably, I don't know, 3,000 or 5,000 in the United States. So you don't have a chance. There's very little chance of getting an agent. I had one for a while in New York, and she sat on my book for 2 years because she had more important clients to deal with. So I haven't had an agent since then, but it's a lot more work. My bucket list would be to be so successful. All I'd have to do is write, and somebody else would pretend to be me and go off and do all the book readings, and that would be pretty cool. You get my twin out there. Yeah.
It's stressful. It is stressful. I know it is. But, your readers really love you and they want to meet you and want to talk to you. And
yeah, it gets easier. The more books you write, it does get easier. And when I first started, I'd go to a grocery store and, do a little display of my book and sit and then stand there with this stupid grin on my face. Well, people come in to get the groceries and they look at this lady think, they let anybody into these stores. Yeah. But it gets easier. And then the last one I did, I had 3 books by then. So I guess I looked a little more credible, not quite as scary.
Incredible. Yeah, I remember our first book signing. It was really, that was terrifying to say the least. We sold books.
I do them in restaurants.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
great.
We have another friend that does them in restaurants.
Yeah.
People come in the restaurant and get about half plowed, and first thing they want to do is buy a book.
Want to buy a book?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I get half plowed with them.
So I should be selling in the bar I should go to the bar with a bunch of books and about 10
Haven't
o'clock
tried that
at
yet,
night.
but all the restaurants
that
have
might be
bars.
better than, see, restaurants in Canada don't often have more than wine. So, it takes a long time for somebody to have enough drinks to buy your book.
That's right.
For goodness.
Looks like Tanya has a question
Yeah.
for you, George. How did you come to move to LaPorte, Texas? What brought you there?
LaPorte?
Yeah.
I don't live in LaPorte.
You don't live in LaPorte. You live in Houston?
I live in San Leon.
San Leon. Okay.
San Leon is
How'd you get there?
halfway between Houston and Galveston, right on the coast.
Okay. What brought you
And
there?
I come here. I don't know. I think I took a left turn at Dallas and got lost.
Okay. That's
There's
good.
no snow. There's no snow there. That's
Makes
one
sense.
reason.
Well, we live right on the water. In fact, the front yard is right on a canal. We built a gazebo that hangs off into the canal.
Cool.
So
Oh,
we like it here because of the proximity to the water.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
a Cancer, so, got to have water.
yep. I'm a Pisces.
Oh, okay.
We live in the water.
Okay. And here you go.
Oh, okay.
She changed the question for you.
He told you he took a left at Dallas.
Left at Dallas.
How did you get to San Leon? Took a wrong turn at Dallas.
That was
I
it.
don't know.
Who knows?
Everybody's got to be somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well,
And like JOYLENE said, no snow. That's a biggie.
6
But I'll
minutes.
tell you one thing. This is a small town. It's kind of the Mayberry of the East Coast here. There's some really, really neat people around here, and we just love it. Everybody's laid back. Everybody knows most of the people in town, so. I like
Tanya
that.
says she's familiar with San Leon. You guys got hammered on Ike, I assume.
I
Hurricane.
can't. Yeah.
We did. We took a hickey.
Well, about 7 minutes ago, we were supposed to be somewhere
Off air.
off the air. So we stretched
But
it a
we
little
can-
bit, but that's okay.
That's all right. We
Yeah.
can keep talking if you
Yeah.
want to,
For
guys.
a few more minutes
because-
we can talk. We do want to tell you about next week's show. Next week we're going to have author Cindy Wolf, who's a multi-award winning historical romance author.
Yep.
She's written like 50-some books in several different series
Yeah.
of historical romances, and she'll be doing I believe she's going to do a book giveaway as well.
Yep.
And we're going to have USA best-selling author Linda Watkins on.
Do you know Linda?
She writes Gothic horror.
We know Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
we've been to visit her, Lucky Duck. She lives in Arizona and Sedona.
Yeah, we met up with her in Sedona. So
Just so beautiful.
yeah, so it's going to be an exciting show next week, and hopefully everybody can make it. Same time, same place, same station.
And Robert, you shouldn't be drinking anything at 10 a.m. in Queensland.
Except orange juice.
Coffee.
Oh my goodness.
None of that Romulan ale.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Star Trek. And so now every Trekkie has been on here talking back and forth to each other about all the inside Trekkie
They're all
things.
excited about it.
Yes, they are.
Open a can of worms, didn't I?
You did. That's because I said he shouldn't be drinking anything at 10 a.m.
Same batch station.
That's right, Robert.
Yes, it is. And I did want to tell you, everybody that's listening, I wanted to tell you about some of the great shows we have on this station, WLFE-DB.com, or our YouTube station, same name. Just Cindy's on Thursday at 8 p.m. She's a psychic. And Everything But Nothing is T. Roy at 10 on the same day. On Friday, there's Card Pulls and Coffee with Lindsay at 7. And then there's the Skeptical Help Bar with Kenny Biddle. And he's a skeptic to all the rest of us that are crazy paranormal people.
We doubt that.
He is. We doubt that he's really a skeptic. On Sunday, there's Across the Pond with 2 Brits and 2 Americans at 4 and Step into the Paranormal with Ernie and Dave. Monday is Paratalk Radio with Ted and Cindy at 8. And if you missed it this past Monday, you have to listen to it. It's amazing. And they actually had 2 authors on there, which we're going to have on here sometime in July.
Hopefully in July, yeah.
They worked for MUFON, and they've written a book about alien abduction, the control factor, and stuff that they know is true. And on Tuesday is the creepy parlor with our friend Genevieve, who's on here. And Where's My Sage with Mike and Christy. So
lots of interesting, diverse shows.
Something for everyone.
Something for everybody, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've enjoyed this so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Every one of our shows we've enjoyed. We love our authors. You guys are all so creative and smart. I just can't hardly stand it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I've had fun.
It was.
We had fun too. You had fun too, JOYLENE?
Oh, yeah.
It was a bumpy entry, but we recovered, didn't we?
It was a little bumpy. Right?
Bumps are good.
Yeah, bumps are good.
And it was the first time, so I'm glad we got that over with. We don't have to have any more technical difficulties. I hope you're listening.
Yeah. Good luck, George.
The radio
with all the excitement.
Good luck to you too.
Yeah, just keep us posted.
Honestly, George, we're just so excited for you. And so, you know what? It's encouraging for the rest of us, right, JOYLENE?
Yes.
Like there's an agent who's pitching our series to the CBC, the Canadian Broadcast Company. Actually,
CBC.
Yep, CBC. Yeah. Well,
by the way, we do have one A-lister that's in our TV series. He's playing the boat captain, and that's Barry Corbett.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor, and he's a good guy.
He was in LA Law, right? Or no, not LA Law. But he was
in.
He played a lawyer.
Urban Cowboy, played the part of Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
He was in War Games, played the part of General Behringer.
But he was also a lawyer on a series for quite a while. That was when
Veterinarian on the ranch.
His mother was a soap opera queen of the soap opera.
That's right.
Yeah, my mother loved her.
He was just on 911 Lone Star, which is a TV series.
Yes.
And there he is. That's him. I love him.
Just got a card from him.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah, I just watched him on an episode. He was on a couple of episodes of 911 Lone Star.
I wonder if he wrote a book. We could have him on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Ask him,
George.
Ask him if he wrote a book, George.
I'll ask him. I talk to him at least 2 or 3 times a week, just by text, mostly with his wife. His wife's name is Jo. She keeps the communication lines open.
Yeah, well, if he's written a book, tell him we've got a podcast.
He should.
We'll reserve a spot for him.
It's good to hang out with creative people, so it kind of rubs off on you and inspires you.
Oh my gosh. I can't tell you, doing this podcast has been so much fun. I mean, seriously, we've enjoyed every single author we've had on. Everyone has had neat things to say and encouraging things to say. And also, I think for me, it's been really good to hear different perspectives of how people approach things. It makes you grow, you know?
Yeah, it broadens your horizons.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
all right. So
this has been wonderful.
It has been. We're going to, JOYLENE and George, we're going to put you guys backstage. We're all going to go backstage. If you want to hang around and chat for a few minutes afterwards, just hang in there, or you can hang up and leave if you want. You've got other things to do. And then we're going to say goodnight. So we're going to pop you backstage now.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Wonderful to have you.
All right.
I think I see one more comment here. One last comment. Yeah. Yep, we're all getting through the COVID. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We've had a wonderful time. We've enjoyed all of your comments. We like that more than anything. When our audience joins in like that, it makes the show wonderful. It's your show, and you make it great.
Right. So for now, we'll say goodnight. On to the next.
On to the next.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DV.com.